able to come to one of the trainings, and we're just going to make it available. So first of all, thank you all for coming. I realize this is very bizarre, and I want to go over really the basics of how to get something online for your students. Even just a basic thing would be really good. I know we have a little bit of time with this new spring break, so starting early is probably a good thing. And I also want you to know that no matter what question you have, or if you run into a problem, please contact us. It may take us a little bit longer than normal to get back to you, but we want to be there for you and help you in any way you can. I have a few things I just want to say before we begin, but really this is for folks who are trying to get stuff online pretty quickly and simply. If you already are pretty good with Moodle, I'm not sure anything I go over here is going to be new to you, but if you just need to know where to begin, this is the training I think that will help you. Like I said, please contact us with anything you need, and we will certainly help you. So the first thing is, if you have a course open in front of you, that's great. You don't need to. I want to show you how to do these things. I'm recording this right now, so if you miss anything, I will put it on YouTube so you can see anything that you need in case I go a little too quickly. The first thing is, and I kind of mentioned this, we really recommend that you design a course that's simple. Bells and whistles look great if you have plenty of time, but perfection is not important right now. Simple is better. It can even be ugly. I don't think your students are going to care. We also recommend that you try to keep as much work asynchronous as possible, because we know that some of our students don't have reliable internet. They may not even have a computer. They may have to borrow it or do something. So if you say we're all going to meet at Tuesday at 9, it may be impossible for some students to do so. And Moodle is really designed to be asynchronous. So this should work for what we're trying to do here. Another thing, hard due dates may be difficult if students can't get in. In my history class, I'm trying to be as flexible as possible, but I'll show you how to set due dates, and because that's part of Moodle, but I think we need to be kind of flexible. And here's the kicker. This is the big one. Nobody expected this to happen. Nobody expected that we would all of a sudden need Moodle as much as I think we're going to need it. And the problem is bandwidth from Delhi Telephone. This isn't a Delhi College issue. This is just, I think, maybe living in Delaware County. We have limited bandwidth. We also don't have unlimited data capacity on our servers. If all of us start using Moodle, we really may have some problems. Now, the system's not going to explode, but it certainly can slow down. And if students tell you they're having a hard time getting on and doing things, it really probably is correct. So we are recommending to not put large files or content onto your course, but if you can put it on YouTube or have links to other things, that is not on our server. So have as many YouTube links or other links as you want, because it'll keep the stress off the system. I think we're all in this together, and this we're hoping isn't a problem, but the IT folks are concerned about it, and they certainly should. So anyway, if you have a course page and you want to log in, certainly do so. Like I said, you don't have to. And the other thing I want to mention is please contact the help desk for any reason, even if you can't log in. The simplest things, the help desk, they'll point your question in the right direction. So please go to them first. If you contact one of us individually, I have to be honest, we're not going to see it until a while. We get the help desk tickets immediately, so please contact them. I also may be doing a training, and one of my colleagues may be able to take the ticket. So please use the help desk as much as you can. It'll give you the best service. Okay. When we log into our classes, I'm just going to go out to the main page here. You'll see that anything that is gray is hidden. I'm going to scroll way down here. All these courses of mine are hidden because they're gray. They're old courses. Anything that is showing, in Moodle we say it's hide and show. Those are the differences. That's what students can see. No student can see a course that is not showing. So right here, my B session American History course is showing the students can access it and do anything they want. So let's find the course. I have a fake course here I made, and let's show how to set something to be visible. This is maybe the most important thing, and it's very simple. Most everything starts up here with this green icon underneath your name, that little gear icon. And there's two things here we care about. And they're kind of confusing. I still make the mistake of mixing them up. Edit settings is the one that gives us sort of overall administration and format of the course. And we're going to click on that first. Most of this stuff you can't change, like you can't change the name and things like that, or the category, or even the start dates. Please don't touch that. We need that for our evaluation kit. But this one here is the issue. If you've never looked at your Moodle course, it is currently set to hide. Students cannot see it. When you get your course looking the way you want it to, even minimally, make sure you go into edit settings and change it to show, and then scroll down and save it. You can have the nicest course in the world, and if students can't see it, you'll hear about it pretty quickly. So very simply, it's the very first one under the gear icon, edit settings, and set to show. Then students can access it. It won't even show up on their page as gray. It shows up on your page as gray because you're the instructor. So let's go back to the gear icon again, and we'll do the second one. As I said, these first two I confuse all the time, but edit settings is for the big parts, the administration of the course. Turn editing on lets us add content. And that's what we're going to do a bunch of here right now. Oh, by the way, please feel free if you need to ask a question, ask it now or wait till the end. I'll be happy to answer any question. I won't turn off until all your questions are answered. So you'll see right now that a whole bunch of other things show up. Students never see this stuff. This is what being an instructor gives you, the ability to add content. Not just resources and activities, which we'll talk about in a second, but these edit functions. So all of this allows you to make the course look the way that you want to. Simply stated, resources are stuff that you put up, pages and links and files. Activities are stuff the students do. So if you're trying to figure out which one to click, well, you can click on either to check, but resources are for you, activities are what the students do. So let's start really being very simple. We have the editing on, and let's just make, let's just customize one of these topics. Let's do that first. That's the most simple thing. You can see at the end here, you see edit. This area here is the top. These are the topics that are defaulted. Let's go to edit, and we're going to edit the topic. I don't like topic 1, topic 2. It's kind of lame. I'm going to click custom, and now I can change it. I'm going to say the Civil War. And now you can't see I'm off the screen now. I'm just copy and pasting some text that I already have. Here is where you would write what you want students to see when they look at it. Very simple. I'm going to save changes, and now in that topic, it is now changed to be something a little more understandable. If I just leave topic 1, topic 2, that's great, but this I think is a lot more understandable. So one of the most simple things you can do is just sort of organize your topics to be more understandable. There's another thing too that you can do. You don't have to do this. I'm going to throw it in here because it is a question that people often ask. I'm going to put a picture in here. And I'm just going to put the picture, I guess, up top. And this icon here says insert or edit an image. I have an image already on my desktop. I'm just going to find it. This is kind of standard stuff about how to find things. It's a picture of Abraham Lincoln. I will upload it. And I always just want to say, I want to describe the image for someone who can't see it because that is necessary. I'm going to save the image. And this looks kind of ugly. I probably want to center it, but I'm not going to worry about right now. And now my topic looks a little nicer. So you can do that as well. I know I just said don't do bells and whistles and make it pretty, but I think this is pretty simple. And I think this should work. So that's the way we change all of these topics here. So now let's add something into our topics. And once again, we want to add things, so we're going to resources. And the simplest thing we can do is a page. We'll get to that in a moment. But I also want to point out file and URL. So let's start with file. The students need to see your syllabus. I know you gave it to them already, but we want to always have the syllabus on the page. So I'm just going to write syllabus. It's kind of a standard thing on every page. And I'm just going to say, here is your syllabus. This is interesting. We have this available for a lot of these. Display on the course page. If you only have a few words or a few sentences here, you can always display it on the course page. If you have a lot of information, it may make the course page too big, but this is easy. I'm going to have it display. I'll show you what it looks like. Now, off my screen here, I have the syllabus. It's on my desktop. I put it there to show you. And the only other thing I really care about is this appearance. Everything else we pretty much want to leave. These settings are defaulted just fine. If I want the students to have to save or open it, I can leave force download. That's probably the one I want to use. You have a bunch of other options, but because it's a syllabus, I don't mind if the students save it to their computer. So I'm going to leave it at force download. An option with image files, I like to have them open in pop-ups so that students can close them easily, but let's just keep it this for now. And you will see that I've successfully done the most simple thing I can, which is upload a file. It is right here. I'm going to turn editing off to show you what the students see. And we turn editing off by the same gear icon. Student comes to the page, they click on this, and they have the option of opening it or saving it. It's the most simple thing we can do. You can do this with any file. You could even do this with an image file. Say you want the students to see an important picture or painting in your course. This is one way you can do it, and they can open it up. And of course, they know what it is because I said what it is going to be. So that is how we upload a file. Let's go back to the gear icon and turn editing back on. And now we're going to do something similar, but we're going to add a page. A file is just that. It's a file. The students will look at it or download it or open it. A page, they just see. I just said files were very simple. This is even more simple. So I'm going to say this is your syllabus. I don't recommend you have a file and a page of the same thing. I just want to show you. I'm going to say this is a page of the syllabus. And I'm going to describe it on the page as well. Notice there's no place to upload a file. This is where the content goes. Now I'm going to drag this onto the screen. This is a copy of my syllabus. I have to warn you that Microsoft Word sometimes looks goofy when you copy and paste it into Moodle. It has to do with the text editors, but I'm going to try it here anyway just to show you how this works. If you find you have weird characters or something, you probably have to edit it in the Moodle text editor. I'm just going to select all so it all highlights it. I'm going to copy it. I'm not even sure that picture up top of SUNY Delhi is going to show up. I'm going to get this out of here. And I'm just going to do Control V, which brings it all in. Yeah, see the picture didn't come over. I'm going to get rid of that. So I do save and return to course. And now we can see what the students will see. And notice the icons are different. This is a Word document. It says W. They know that's a Word document. And this looks like a page. We'll click on it and it opens up. Now, they can't download it, they can't copy it. Well, I guess they could cut and paste it if they wanted to. Here's an issue. A picture I have in there doesn't work, which shows you some of the limitations. I would have to manually put that in or type it in. But this is how you add a page. Pages are very common. You can put any information. You could say, here's the topic for our work. Here's something I want you to know. A lot of excellent looking courses are just a lot of pages with information and a few activities. So let's go back to the course, and up here is our breadcrumbs. I just pick on the name of the course. I now want to add something else, so I'm going to go to add a resource. Remember, resources are stuff we add. The other thing is a URL. We would just call a URL a link, and we have to come up with a link that they should go to. So I'm going to just pick YouTube. YouTube is very popular, and we are recommending if you have something like a lecture, and you want to film yourself on your camera, maybe just a 5 or 10 minute bit, you standing in front of a board or just sitting at a desk, you can always throw it up on YouTube. And we have other trainings about how to do that. It's pretty simple. If you don't know, ask a 12-year-old. They'll show you how to do it. So I have a YouTube video somewhere. Let me open up YouTube and I'll find one. And I'm just going to pick any video. This is a Moodle video, I guess. So I go to that page and you can see here's where the video is. I'm going to turn it off. Up here is the URL. This is what we call the link. I'm just going to copy it. Now I don't need Moodle. I don't need YouTube anymore. I'm going to go back to where I am. And here is where I Control V, cut it in. I'm going to say a video. I can put a description. This is a video. Once again, I'm going to say to put on the page. I don't have to. Appearance is the only thing I probably care about here. I like videos to open up in a pop-up, and I'll show you why in a second. That's the only thing I'm going to worry about. This other stuff is probably great. If you find you're fishing around in settings, you probably want to get out of there because most of the defaults are just fine. You're not going to break anything. You just not really get much help. I'm going to save, and now you'll see the little icon next to the video. It looks like a world, which I guess means World Wide Web. It's very clever. So remember I said in a pop-up. when the students click on that, a pop-up shows up and they can make it bigger, they can make it smaller, they can hit play. And the reason I like pop-up is this: when they're done, they can X out and they're still on the same page. If you choose like in a window or automatic, sometimes you have to scroll back or you have to click back to get into it. So videos are cool. Lots of folks use videos if you find good ones. We have an issue with folks who are using screen readers if they can't see the video. So that can be an issue. YouTube does have a rudimentary, they call it the reference, or not citation. It writes the words down. Forgive me, my brain is not working. But if you're using a video, that's a way to do it. In my course, I use OER texts. And here is the first, chapter 16 is where we begin in my US 2 course. And I have the students have links constantly to each chapter. Each topic, I have a different chapter. And here's how I would do that. It's exactly the same. I go up here, highlight it, I copy, right-click and copy. Then I'm going to go back to my course, and I'm now going to make an OER link. It's not a video. I'll show you how this works. Once again, we're making this. It's a resource. I go to URL, and just like before, I'll copy or paste it in, excuse me. I'm going to say your text, and I'm going to say this is your text, although I don't really have to. It's pretty obvious what your text means. Appearance, I like in a pop-up. You choose. By the way, these little question marks by a lot of the stuff will explain what each things mean if you want to see. And now I go back, and from now on, my students can see what the chapter is that they're working on. I probably should have written, this is the chapter for this week or something like that. And you'll see it opens up, and there's that page in a pop-up again, just like with the video. There's really no difference, except they read this one instead of click on the play button. Okay. Those are very simple ways to add content. We think most faculty will use those 3 things mostly. Like I said, ask us if you need any more help. Communication. This is where students interact, or you interact with students, and the simplest way to email everyone is from this block. Quick mail is in all of your courses, even if there's nothing else in your course, it's defaulted there. And it is as simple as can be. It's even more simple than the email we use at the college. I click on quick mail, compose new message, and you'll see I have my students here. I can add all of them. Oop, I made a mistake. I can remove all of them. I can click one of them and add them individually. A trick is to hold the control key down if I want more than one, and then I add, and there they are. I can include attachments just like email. I could say I have a subject line, a message. I can even give myself a copy, and as soon as I send it, I now know that all those students that I've put on this recipient list are now getting the email. This is the simplest way to email everyone in your class quickly and reliably. Let's go back to our course. Forums are another way we communicate with students, but they also communicate with us. And because students are participating, it's not a resource, it's an activity. So let's go to all of these activities. Most of them you'll never need. They're helpful if you need a specific thing, but we're just going to do forum for this part. Sometimes people call them DQs, discussion questions, because generally they are questions that people will ask. Now, off the screen, I have a question I stole from my US 2 class, but I'm going to say discussion number 1 or whatever. I'm going to spell it wrong. This doesn't matter. I'm now going to copy and paste it in. I hit Control V to paste it in. And there's a few options I have. I'm going to click on Expand All up here to open all these up. And again, we're not going to touch most of them. But there is something interesting you can do. A standard forum means that students can see what I posted. They can reply back. They can reply to each other. This is what we use for most of our forums. There is another option, and once again, this little question mark will help you. The Q&A forum is interesting because it requires students to first post, and then they can see everyone else's posts. So if you ask a question and you're concerned that some students may just wait until they see what other folks have written, this is a way to solve that. They can't see a thing until they post. And maybe you want to say something on your, in your description that says, you know, please post first, and then you can see everyone else's, or you don't even have to. They won't even know. But I'm going to leave it as standard form for general use. And the other thing I want to show you, which is why I opened it all up, is you can grade forum posts. You can tell students that they get 5 points for this post. What we need to do is put it in a category, which is part of the gradebook, which we'll talk. But ratings is how we do it. This is set to not have any. I'm just going to say maximum of ratings, and what that means is, let's say the student has 3 posts and I've graded them all. It takes the highest one. I can also, if I require 2 or 3 posts, I can average the ratings or sum of the ratings. It gets a little complicated here. If you want to grade forums, though, this is a way to do it in the form. You can also just do it manually, I guess, yourself. So I'm not going to talk too much more about the ratings. There is one more thing that is interesting, and that has to do with word count, which is right here. If you tell the students, your forum should be 200 words, and you click on yes, they will be able to see how many words they've typed, and you will see it instantly, so you don't have to go line by line and count. Once again, let's leave all this other stuff the way it is. And I've now set up a forum. And here's discussion. Now, I'm going to log in quickly as a student in this class. Because I'm a manager in Moodle, I have the ability to be a student. This is something I don't believe faculty or instructors have the ability to do, so I'm going to show you this. I'm going to log in as this student to show you what the student sees when they log into a forum. They go here, and because I've told them you have to do discussion 1 in this topic, they click on here, and here's what they see. My question, they see my misspelling, and then they add a discussion topic. They give a subject, they type something in, and they post it, and then everyone else, including you, can see it. They can also reply to other students when they read their posts. I don't have a post here already written, so that's why you can't see it. But that is what the students see. This is extremely simple. Any student who's used any sort of IM or something like that will figure out how to use this very quickly. All right, let me log out as this student so I can get back in. And now we're back in our training. Again, folks, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to jump in or wait till the end. And like I said, I'm recording this, so if you don't catch something, I will post it on YouTube and I'll put the link up. I'll send you all the links so that we know. Okay, let's go back to activities. This is the big one, I believe. This is a lot of how we grade a lot of student work in Moodle. Forums is one way. That's sort of our discussion like we would have in a class. But assignment is the big one. So I am now going to go up to the icon again, turn editing on, which gives me the ability to do this. And I'm now going to go to add an activity. Once again, this is for the students. It's an activity. And assignment is the first one here. I'm going to click on it. Here is where I can ask questions. So I have something I'm going to copy and paste in from my US2 class, because you shouldn't have to watch me type everything in. Maybe edit it a little bit, because sometimes, like I said, the editing gets a little funny. I'm going to say assignment 1. And here is where we have some things to figure out. I'm going to expand all these settings so we could see them. Again, most of them, I had it expanded. Most of them you're not going to touch. Here is where you can set when you want something due. You notice today is the 16th. Moodle always has whatever this day is right now as being the time that you open up a video. If I open up an assignment, if I want to open it later, I can change the dates. The due date is when the students will see it is due. Moodle does not stop students from submitting, and this is important. They will submit after the due date. It will show up as red on the screen where you grade, which I'll show you in a moment, but the students will still be able to submit. The cutoff date is when the assignment no longer allows for submissions. So if I enable the cutoff date, maybe I want to make it the same date as the due date. That means on the due date, no one else can submit. Once again, I have to have the time the same, correct though. Once again, up to you. In my course, I'm being pretty flexible. I'm allowing submissions to be pretty much whenever, but again, up to you. This can be helpful. You get a little notice from Moodle that you said you want to do all the grades. That's fine if you want to use it. Most of this other stuff, you probably just want to leave the same. If we're using the gradebook, but I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Here is where we would put the grade category, but let's not talk too much about that. Here, though, might be important. If you say this assignment is 20 points, I just change it to 20. That's about, I think, the only thing down on the bottom of the page that might be helpful. So now you'll see I have my assignment that I just made. It is right here. It is right here. And I already have an assignment that I set up, and I want to show you how you grade what the students submit. So this already has some fake submissions. So I'm going to open it up. You are the instructor. The assignment is due. You look at it, and you see a few things. You see the number of people in your course and how many have submitted. This is important. You still need to grade 3 of them. And then I view all of those submissions. And it brings me to this page. If I scroll a bit, oh, actually, I can see everything anyway. It shows you the file they submitted, shows when they submitted it, the student, and the easiest way to, and by the way, one student did not submit. So I'm not going to grade that student, but there's a little trick I want to show you about how you get around that. I click on grade. It doesn't matter which one I hit grade because it's going to take me to this page. I see the student. I see the assignment up here. Here's what the student wrote. Now, here's the trick. Up here, this little weird triangle with a tail icon, you saw that one student didn't submit. I don't even want to be bothered by opening their page because there's nothing on it. If you have half the students who didn't submit, it's a pain. You just have to scroll through them. So I'm just going to say requires grading, and you'll see the number now goes 3 of 3 because only 3 students submitted. So when I save the changes, when I do all this grading, it'll just take me to the next one. It just saves you some time. So here's where I put the grade. Whenever it's so good, I already know it's 100. I can leave general feedback comments here. Very good. I can write whatever I want. I got plenty of room. I can also download this essay, and I just do that simply by clicking on the name of the document. You'll see it opens up. I don't want it, just kidding. And I can even take that document and then make comments on it and then save it and then put it here where it says here, add a file, or just drag it on here. So I have a bunch of different ways I can give the students feedback and give them a grade. And when I'm done with that, I simply go down here to save changes. If it's one thing I'm looking at, I just hit save changes. If I want to go to the next one, I say save and show next. And then click OK. And you'll see the next student's submission shows up, or it's supposed to show up. Sometimes it takes a little time for this to happen because it's actually converting at this point. So I'm just going to get out of here. Sometimes you have to wait a little bit for this to happen. I'm going to go back. I clicked on the wrong one. I think, oh, there we go. Okay, so we're back. You can now see that I graded one of them. I still need 2, and that's how you do the assignments. Okay, we have a number. Oh, by the way, there's another thing I think I want to make sure I show you. Let's say I put my syllabus or this discussion here and I made a mistake. I don't want it up here. Because remember, when I'm doing, I can put it anywhere. Every single topic has the ability. I want to drag it. Let's say I want to bring it down below. These little, I guess they're crosses or something. I click and hold and just drag it, and there I can move it. So you can rearrange everything if you find you don't like where something is. That's a simple way. That's a simple way to do it. Okay. YouTube, I mentioned earlier, is a really good way of having information because we showed how to link to a video, and YouTube servers are, I have no idea where they are, but they're not in Delaware County, so they're not going to suck up our bandwidth. One faculty member came in the other day and asked if they could film themselves with their camera, with the video, your video camera, and I think that would work very well. And they just put like lecture 1, lecture 2, lecture 3, or maybe a lecture in each topic. And at least that gives the students something to watch and do. And then maybe they have an assignment and a discussion and maybe a textbook reading or something. That's a good way to set up a course too. The other thing is what we're doing now, which is Zoom. If you want to meet with students in any way, you can just Zoom them. Again, that is synchronous. They all have to be online, or some have to be online, but maybe that's a way to do your office hours. A student has a problem. Maybe you Zoom with them. And we have information on how to set up a Zoom account if you don't have one separately, which we will share with everyone. So those are, we strongly recommend YouTube and Zoom if you can. Now notice I almost put nothing that was big on this page. We have faculty who put code, like books, like from the trades. They want to have like electrical codes, and the PDF files are enormous. You can put those on, but again, your class may slow down and the rest of the campus may suffer. So please be careful. If you can find a link to it, it's much, much better. PDF files especially can be really big. Okay, here's the last thing, and I have been debating how to handle this. The gradebook. Whenever I make an assignment, and in this case, I have assignment number 1. I also have the assignment I prepared beforehand. And a discussion, if I say I'm going to grade it, remember we call that rating, it shows up in the gradebook. Now, gradebook is very powerful. It can do calculations for you, but here's the problem. If you wanted to do calculations for you for the rest of the semester, you have to manually input all of the grades you already have. If you have them in a gradebook or on an Excel sheet, you can actually import from an Excel sheet, but it's a little tricky, but you have to manually input everything. You may be fine with just allowing the students to see their grades in this gradebook and not have it calculated. That may be fine for right now. If you don't normally have a calculation for the students anyway in a class, like you just keep it in a gradebook, they don't know really anyway, and they have to come to you anyway, but they will see all their grades. But if you want to set up your gradebook, it does require a good deal of work. And then I would like to offer, please drop a help desk ticket, and you can ask for me, ask for John Horner, and I can help you set it up. We have to add categories, we have to add weights, we have to look at your syllabus. It's going to take a good deal of time. If you feel it's worth it, I'm happy to work with you. If you're just happy to allow the students to see the rest of their grades for the term, then maybe this is just good enough. And I think good enough might be the best thing for us to say for everything from this point on. As long as the students are getting what they need, it might be good enough. So that's your call. I'm offering my assistance, but I just want you to know it is going to be manually input and a good amount of work. And it's not a simple thing. Starting halfway through the term. It's complicated enough if we start at the beginning of the term, but halfway through it's even a lot more difficult. Okay, I burned through stuff here quickly. Like I said, this will be available on YouTube. Once I set it up, I'll send out the link. But I'd like to know if anyone has any questions that I can help you with. You can always submit a help desk ticket too.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
There was a question earlier in the chat asking about the tabs.
Yes.
Could you cover the course layout, the one topic course layout, and then how that differs from an actual tab activity?
Yes, that is a good question. You can see right now, we just have these, they're called topics. Topic 1, topic 2, topic 3. And I actually changed the name of this one earlier and I forgot to change it back. But let's go to the general settings. Remember, this is like the administration edit settings. We have some other options, and I want to show you one of the more popular ones. Topics is defaulted. That's what your course is right now. If you want to pick, and again, this little will help you, the question mark. Many faculty like one topic, and I'll show you what that looks like. It takes a moment. There we go. We save it. And now you will see that all the topics are now on the top of the page instead of underneath at the bottom. And if you change the titles of these, like we showed how to do it with this first one, it's a lot easier for the students to see, especially if you want to say March 16th through the 24th or whatever, and then March 25th, students instantly can go and click. Now, you just click on the topic and then you do the exact same thing. You add resources, add activities. Here's the one thing though that you have to know. I don't like this essay here. It's in the wrong topic. I want it in topic 3. I can't do anything. I can't move it. The trick is, this is the only real thing you have to know about one topic. I think it looks great. I use it in my courses. I'm going to now edit the settings. I have to go back to topics because one topic does not allow me to drag and drop from tab to tab. Excuse me. So I want that module in topic 3. I have to now drag it. Remember, I have editing on, so I see these little crosses. I now have to go back to edit settings and change it back to one topic. And you'll see now that topic 3 has my essay. So that's the only thing you have to know. What I do when I'm designing a course, I keep it in topics format the entire time until I'm ready. And at the last minute, I just change it to one topic format because then I know everything is where it's supposed to be. Now, there is another thing in Moodle called a tab display, not to be confused with one topic. We call these topics. This is a little more complicated. If you, maybe we should leave it for now, because if you just do these simple other things, that still should be enough. If you want to use a tab display, you know someone who uses it, we can help you with it, but let's not confuse people more if that's okay with everybody.
John, just something
Yes.
to mention. This
Yeah.
is Erica. So the way your profile is set up, you see the add a resource and add an activity things differently than I think everybody else does. So do you mind if I share my screen quickly to show the people on the chat what it will most likely look like for them?
Please do. Thank you.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
I have not noticed it.
Yeah, you'll have to end your share just quickly.
There we go. Oh, yeah.
All right, let me share my screen.
I believe it's related to the theme. I might be wrong.
No, it's some sort of hidden setting that I think yours might be stuck on.
Oh,
Can you guys
great.
see my Vanko Hall course now?
Yes.
So what it will look like for probably most everybody is with editing turned on, you'll see this little plus icon with a link. If you click on that, you'll get a pop-up like this. And it lists out the activities and then towards the bottom, the resources. One other neat thing about this is as you're working through adding things to your course, if you click on an assignment or any activity type or any resource type, on the right-hand side, it gives you a really nice description about what this activity type is, what you can use it for, what it does, and it will give you that description for anything you click on. So it's kind of like a nice little quick help guide about what all of these things in here might mean.
That's great. It took a global pandemic for me to realize I had a setting wrong. So yeah, I mean that's good. Hey, it should be self-explanatory, but thank you for explaining it because it was actually confusing.
All right,
Folks, are there any other questions? Like I said, drop us a help desk ticket, contact us. It may take us a bit to get back to you, but we absolutely will. And get a jump on this. The more you do now, I think the easier it's going to be when things get crazier, when hopefully the students come back. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you coming. Good luck, and please let us help you. Thanks.
Thank you.
See ya.